Hi, Lucia again from Finax. Yeah. So for today's update, being honest, I'm actually had a great concern about how is our economy going, and literally it's just not doing well. Okay, and what we're seeing is that because obviously we are the mortgage advisors, what we're seeing is we had clients' application had been put on hold, and reason being they either had lost their income or they actually on the reduced income. Okay, so we all know that with the level 3 continue to own the at Auckland, it does impact quite a lot of small business owners, the restaurants, the cafes, the retail shops. Those all terribly heavily been impacted. But what government's doing? Unfortunately, I haven't seen any, yes, apart from the wage subsidies, small support. Unfortunately, I think what they are betting on is actually on housing. Okay, so this is very, very different when I was actually kind of looking at what Chinese government were doing, because to help to recover the from the COVID, basically the Chinese government is encouraging people to do small business, actually supporting those small business. Then you've seen the vice presidents out there, talking to the people. They have a little food stores on the street and everything. Unfortunately, here our government is betting on housing, and I think you can see the immigration policy, which is they announced the in the past couple of weeks we've seen a 3 new policy pop up. One is immigration policy, right? So now it's creating a bit of hype or fear of missing out there, because they want to send this strong message to people that buy houses. Okay, and what we're seeing now is house prices go terribly high now, because we had customers, they will be buying houses probably in September's, they're probably paying just under $1 million. Now for the same house, people most likely had to actually pay additional $150,000. So it's a huge increase in there, a huge concern for me. Yeah, absolutely. And also, when you're also looking at the second policy they put in place, so which this one is the government going to actually fund up to $200,000 to help the first-home buyers to get into their home. Yeah, so this new strategy actually is not new, because New Zealand Housing Foundation. Okay, so you can Google it. They have been doing this for a while now, but obviously there are only small percentage of the people that they can help. And also there are lots of restrictions there. Say you had to keep the house for 3 years, and if they sold it, government going to take their percentage of the shares and things like that. Yeah, okay. So I don't believe that ultimately that's going to solve issue of our housing issue. Okay. Another policy I think that came out yesterday was remove the resource consent. The reality is at the moment a lot of zoning, because in Auckland, a lot of zonings houses you do not need resource consent. You can actually build up to 3 houses without a land use resource consent, up to 3 dwellings. Yeah, okay. So yes, I think it's probably going to help some, but I had to be honest, it's not going to be on the great, scale that, change the, but all those things, when you look at that, is absolutely they are betting on housing, because that's only the industry at the moment that, will actually pull all the money into the industry. Yeah. And the reality is solving the shortage of housing is actually go down to the shortage. You have to solving the problem of the shortage of material, shortage of skilled workers, and also shortage of the funding. Okay, and if those one hasn't been solved, you're not going to build more houses, because there will be no houses being built. I mean, what we know now is an issue with a material shortage. You probably, the placemaker account manager actually urging people, you need to book 6 months ahead, and that's crazy, because people started stocking up, which is probably unnecessary. Yeah, and materials there is actually the transportation is not there. Yeah, they couldn't find the truck drivers. It's the transportation. It's the freight is not there. Yeah. And also the obvious is skilled worker. I mean, there are companies went under. Construction company went under. And I think you probably know about us, Arrow. It's because they don't have a skilled workers. Yeah. And at the moment, what we're seeing is the bank is simply just very, very tough on funding. Okay, money is not available. A lot of people want to buy houses, but money is not available because the increasing on the legislation on the CCCFA. Also increasing on the interest rate. Yeah, so the bank is really, really careful. And also the non-bank lenders, they are very, very tough as well. They're very conservative because they're worried about what happened, if there will be a cash crash, and they are unable to actually recover their money because all the extended, lockdowns because of the construction side, they cannot actually, having the project actually going on time. Yeah, okay. So I think that's probably just for today's update. And so what I'm suggesting you to do, and as always, the market it's actually not looking good. So you have to be very, very careful and do not overpay anything. So because we know that at the moment there are crazy prices out there, people paying like nearly $4 million for property at premium. What we know is it's unlikely, the lender is going to be agree with that value, and most likely that person, the buyers is probably going to have to come out with $2 million, and then with the lending of probably $1.75 million. So basically they had to come out with quite a lot of deposit for that. And as always, just remember, focus on your goal. What's happening out there, knowing what's going on. But I think the beauty about a property is you are not buying the whole market. You always buying an individual property. Okay, so you can, if you are ready, mentally ready, financially ready, do not hold back or something. However, if you are the one that already highly leveraged, had to be very, very, very careful, what you are doing. But focus on your goal, and I wish you all the best. Thank you for watching.